Thursday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., and again, Friday, 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. But today we're doing a Zoom interview with vocalist Barry, is that Moton?
Yes, Moton.
Moton, Barry Moton. Now, it says you're a vocalist, but I was looking on your website, it says you also play guitar.
Yeah, I play more keyboard, a little bit of keyboard and
okay.
Yeah. But when we're in school, they have us learn so many different styles and so many different instruments while we're in school. So yes.
now, so we were just discussing about where you're from is famous by us. One of the great comedians, Richard Pryor. Now,
that's right. That's definitely right. That's right.
So as soon as I saw that, it brought a smile to my face. Peoria, I remember he said Peoria, Illinois.
Peoria, Illinois. And I don't know if you know, there's a singer, Liv Warfield. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's from Peoria as well. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And Brianna Thomas. I don't know if you know the jazz vocalist Brianna Thomas, but yeah, she's from there.
I don't remember that one. Yeah. So,
but yeah, Richard Pryor.
Yeah. So you also went to school in vocal jazz performance from the Southern Illinois University.
Southern Illinois University. I studied under the Reginald Thomas, who is now the head of the jazz department over at Northern Illinois University in DeKalb. But he was at SIUE, and then I did my graduate school at Howard University.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, Howard University, man. you just from a famous place and from a famous university.
Yes. I'm very proud of both of those schools. They have wonderful programs.
Yeah. How did you get started in music? I mean, did you start with vocals or instruments?
It's interesting that you say that. So I actually started out as a saxophonist. I always tell the story. We were growing up. I was in 5th grade, and we had to buy our instruments. So many people they get their instruments supplied through the school, but that was not our case. And so we had to buy the instrument. And my mother, my father, they had 3 kids. It's 3 of us. So money wasn't like we had to kind of make sure that we were budgeting and stuff like that. And so I remember when my mother got me the saxophone, she looked at me and she said, "You are going to play this until high school. You hear me?" And so I said, okay, I was like, all right, Mom. And I loved it. I fell in love with it right then, 5th grade. And I practiced all the time. And then in high school is when I switched over to singing.
So what age did you start the saxophone?
So that would have been what, 12? 13, somewhere near there, 12 or 13, 12. Yeah, which is that's been a minute ago.
Oh, okay.
That's been a minute.
Okay. So you fulfilled your obligations.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because I'm visiting my mother in Houston right now, and I can see my old saxophone right here. I can see the very first saxophone. So it's funny that we're having this conversation. Yeah.
So this is what started your career, huh?
It is. It's what started my career.
So how did
12 years old.
So how did you get to the vocal?
So I had a wonderful teacher in middle school or in high school. Her name was Denise Adams, and she was just a fantastic teacher. And for some reason, we just really clicked right off. And so, she gave me some songs to kind of sing. And I don't know, do they have the IMEA concert or IMEA? They might call it TCMA. Because y'all are from Tennessee?
No, we're here in Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City. Why did I say Tennessee? I don't know what I said. But they may have like a KMEA. I don't know if they have that, but it's like a music educators competition that they sort of have. So anyway, yeah. And so when I was a sophomore in high school, I tried out for their vocal jazz All-State. It's the equivalent to All-State for people that are in sports. They have like a musical equivalent. And so I tried out for All-State that year, and I was very, very grateful and was able to get in. And so that kind of just really gave me the confidence to move on and to continue,
So where did the singing aspect come from?
So my father always sang. My father was always a singer, and all of my uncles and aunts on my father's side were all artists. They're all visual artists, instrumentalists, dancers, that sort of thing. And so I got that from my father, and so I always kind of sang, but never really took it seriously. I was kind of like, I'm not really, And then in high school, I said, let me see what this would be like, and so it kind of began something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, so you studied, was one of the persons you studied with, I was looking at his name, Miller?
Yeah, Connaitre Miller. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's over at Howard University. She is the director also of an amazing group called Afro Blue, which was on a competition called the Sing Off. They've done so many different things. They've sung with Esperanza Spalding, with Jerry Allen before she passed, a bunch of different musicians, amazing musicians. I was never a part of Afro Blue, but she was just a very, very wonderful teacher,
Yeah, but I've heard of Afro Blue.
Oh yeah. That's the director.
Now, so I was looking at your website. It was talking about you are a true Renaissance man. Yeah.
I'm trying.
Now you not only sing and play guitar, and play keyboards, and play sax, but you have some radio drama.
Yeah. So I was fascinated with the story of Billy Strayhorn, who worked with Duke Ellington, and he was the writer of "Take the A Train," of so many other songs that that was associated with Duke Ellington, and but Billy didn't necessarily get all the credit, that he deserved, and it wasn't necessarily Duke's fault, he wasn't trying to steal the sunshine. It was just kind of a part of what it was. And so I thought it was a fascinating story. And so I first wrote it as a play, and we performed that play at the Kennedy Center in 2019. And then when the pandemic hit, I said, why don't we try to do this as a radio drama? And actually it was the director, a friend of mine who lives in St. Louis, by the way, Missouri. And she was the one that suggested that we do it as a radio drama. And so we did it as that in 2020.
Okay, so kind of update us on this story about Billy.
Yeah, so Billy Strayhorn, who was born in Pittsburgh, he got associated at a relatively young age, somewhere around like 21. He got associated with Duke Ellington in New York, and began to work with him pretty consistently, and wrote amazing songs. I mean, he's the one that wrote Lush Life. He wrote Take the A Train, like I said. He co-wrote Satin Doll, all these amazing songs, and most people that know Take the A Train, they know it as Duke's theme song, and they think of it as kind of like Duke's tune. And I was like, I think that it's really, really important to shed light on the fact that it was actually Billy who wrote that song, and not that Duke wasn't writing, amazing a million songs, but it was actually Duke, or not Duke, but it was actually Billy who wrote that, and I was just fascinated by that story. And unfortunately, Billy died too soon. He died in 1967, and he died of esophageal cancer because he drank and smoked himself basically to death. So, so I just thought it was a story I wanted to tell. And yeah, it's a whole, I could go into a whole lot more, but.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad that during that time, even acting, performing, jazz musicians, man, the association, the traveling and all the things you had to go through. It's not, now we have a lot of technology. Traveling's easier.
We really do.
Because of the conditions, also, some of these had to drive overnight, sleep on buses.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So a lot of drinking and alcohol, drugs, that kind of stuff, went along with it, and probably shortened a lot of musicians and actors. It just wasn't in that and even in acting, even with just wasn't black, it was, this was white, all different type of entertainers there,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Which is very, very sad, And you just wonder what kind of music did we miss out on because they died so soon,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's also another debut that you had, musical, I Too Sing America,
Oh,
about,
yeah.
And that was about who now, Langston?
Langston Hughes, yeah. And I didn't write that one, but
Okay.
that was while I
You
performed at
featured,
Howard.
okay.
And that was amazing. I don't know if are you familiar with the TV show The Chi?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I know that it's on Showtime, and one of the actors that I performed with in there, she is on that show. Her name is Burgundy Baker, which is very, very cool. That I'm like, oh my goodness, I remember when we performed in I Too Sing America. So very cool.
Yeah, and when you were talking about some of these, like Duke Ellington, well, here is Charlie Parker.
Oh, of course. I mean, my goodness, yes.
But it's this. My dad, must have been in the kindergarten, and there was two songs that he would always play on the record. I had the old 33 and a halves and things like that. And so one of them was the story of Birdland. And so I'm trying to remember. I know I have it on my computer.
Do you still have the copy? Or, yeah, I would love to.
No, I don't have the. I have the seat. It's
a CD version.
Yeah, but the thing was, I just remember him trying to sing the song, and I would laugh. And the other one, I think it was Fats Waller or something like that. No, Red Top, Gene Ammons. But that guy, they call him. He did the. I forget that type of scene. Yeah, that's. I can't remember the vocalist that did it. That did the story Eddie of Jefferson. Birdland. But when I was listening, it was interesting because this was a story. He said he had came from overseas, and let's see, and he was coming back to New York, and he went to that out in the Birdland with the club. So he was saying he was waiting to Charlie Parker and some more. I'm trying to remember who was the young guy that was playing. And but while he was waiting on these guys, some of the other guys were already at the gig. So they went on and started playing because they was waiting on some more people. I'm thinking he was talking about Charlie Parker when he was young, and he was talking about how, man, the way you play, I used to play like that when I was young. That's what he was saying. And, you have to listen to it. It's called a story. I definitely want to. Yeah. But it's a story about that club. And he's naming some of the jazz artists that were there, but they were still waiting on some more people to come in.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I definitely want to hear that. Yeah.
But I just and the Red Top was the other song, and it was another song, but I haven't found it. It took me quite a while to find the story of Birdland because I didn't know the name of it. I just knew how how the it went, and it was singing. So I just kept looking, and finally I said, this sounds like that song. And I listened to it. I said, yeah, this is it. But yeah, that's what it was,
I love that. I love that.
Story. And so I still have that. And sometimes I'll play it during my show, like Black History Month or something like that, Jazz Month or something like that.
Yeah.
I say, hey, this is an old school. It's kind of what started it all when I, was listening to jazz. And I kind of understood what jazz was because, but I used to always laugh because my dad would try to sing like
I love that. Yeah, but that's everything. Those are the memories that that you have.
Yeah. So now, where did the jazz start come in? Did you start out with jazz, or did you?
I have to credit my mother, who is just my heart. She, when we were little, we would play Name That Jazz Singer in the car. And so, she would put on some, whatever was on the radio because she loved listening to jazz. So, I would hear Nancy Wilson, who is that? And we didn't know. She looking at you like, how come you don't know Nancy Wilson, Sarah Vaughan, Carmen McRae, all of them, Billie Holiday, everybody, Ella. And so she made sure that we knew who these people were. It's very important. So. She kind of started it. I just
giving you that Black history lessons.
Oh, 500%. And then my father, he has passed, but he was a history teacher. So, we were getting it from both sides.
Yeah. And there are some that don't want to teach certain things about Black people. They don't know what they're missing out on.
Who you telling? It's gold.
Man, I don't care what subject you talk about. When it seemed like that one of those Black pioneers got it, they changed it.
And made it took it.
Yeah. And some of these, just like you would watch when I was watching Roots, I kind of which was that Chicken George that played the fiddle? Which one was Fiddler? Well, a guy named Fiddler. What it was? But right. The whole thing was they got these instruments that maybe they didn't have over in Africa, but man, when they got them, they took it to another level.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you were even talking about, Charlie Parker, because just think about the saxophone. That's not an African instrument, per se, but look at what, what they did, And
some of them didn't even have music lessons. These guys didn't have music lessons.
Yes, which just, blows my mind.
And then you say, even if they did get some sheet music, if they didn't know how to read, see?
Yeah.
You had to.
Yeah, you really.
People don't know what they're missing. They're missing out on. I mean, man, I don't care what areas. It's just. So you have some credits, some performances at Mid-Atlantic and the Sears Festival.
Yep.
You shared the stage with some people that I. Cyrus Chestnut and now Vanessa Rubin. I have played her some selections of her.
I'm such a big fan of hers. That was while I was at SIUE, Southern Illinois, and she sang with our vocal jazz ensemble, and just the warmest person I've ever met. She just is a generous soul, just a wonderful, wonderful person, and we still stay in contact, with each other. She's amazing. She really is. And then Cyrus Chestnut, he was my teacher, one of my teachers over at SIU or at Howard, because he heads the jazz piano department at Howard.
Okay. Yeah. This is also on LinkedIn, see. So. Because that's how I was like, see if she got something new now. and you mentioned Roy Hargrove, so I sent you that picture. And he came here in Kansas City, and I took that with him. I was trying to remember who else came with him. Michelle, how you pronounce
Cello?
Yeah, she came. She was a little bit before him, but Roy Hargrove was here, and that's how I met him.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was such an interesting story. Obviously may he rest in peace. I was singing at a jam session and I saw somebody in the corner with a suit and a pair of sunglasses on. I was like, I wonder if that, and then all of a sudden I was singing a blues and I had closed my eyes, and when I opened my eyes, he was standing right next to me, and I passed the mic over to him and I was like, oh my goodness, this is Roy Hargrove. So it's very, very cool,
Yeah, so it's now. Is there any? And thank you for, giving me the opportunity, giving KUAW to do this interview with you, because it was short notice. But oh man, I was so busy, and I was like, oh man, I remember we kind of talked, and I said I got some time now,
I really
Mr. Walker was kind of on. We had a holiday. Last week, and then Mr. Walker, he had to go on his little fishing trips and stuff like that. So you like to fish?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't gone fishing in a long time. My dad used to love to fish. My dad, and he used to take my brother and I to go fishing. But it's funny that you just talked about that, because we went to Galveston Island the other day, which has a bunch of fishing sort of areas, and we saw a bunch of people going fishing. So it's funny that you're talking about that right now. But yeah, I haven't gone fishing in a long time. Wow.
Oh, I was with my family. One of my nieces had her 50th birthday. So I don't know, when I was telling someone, said, Mr. Walker always talking about going fishing. So maybe all of us to get together. Even I went to this funeral with a classmate, and so some of my cousins, and they mentioned man, when we gonna go fishing? And I said, everybody's been asking me. We gonna all have to get together.
Gonna
Even my supervisor where I work part-time, he was telling me, so when y'all gonna go? When y'all gonna go? I said, well, they said don't go near the holiday because it's crowded, So I said, well, Mr. Walker goes. So we're gonna have to all get together. And so anyway, I was telling them my little fishing story. That's mine. So I was telling my little fishing story about when my dad, he had me we were fishing. Now, I was younger than 16. So, man, and I haven't been fishing like this at all since then. But, man, I'll just be catching the fish, and he'd say, well, the fish not biting. Let's move. And I'm just, but. He said, now start moving the stuff. And and I'm trying to explain to him, look, I'm just catching all these fish, and he make me move. And then I go, and then I always leave my fishing pole in the water, right? He said, you better take that out because the fish going to get your bait. I said, because every time you make me move, when I come back, and fish on there. And so I come back and there'll be a fish on there, right? But I had to move. And then I start, this is a good spot. I'm glad he made me move. Here he comes again. Well, the fish ain't, but let's start moving that stuff over there. So I did the same thing. You better take that. I said, remember the last time? Watch, there's going to be a fish on there. And he moved me all the way across the lake.
Oh my goodness!
But I haven't been catching fish like that since I don't know what it is. Maybe because I was younger, they was like, okay, we're gonna make you show your old man out, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, because we know he making you move over the lake because we see you go.
I love that. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So they thought it was a fishing story. I said, I'm telling y'all the truth.
Right. Oh my goodness! But y'all still go fishing?
Well, we Mr. Walker trying to get me out in his boat. He got a kayak. That's what I call his boat. He's trying to get me. I said, look, if you get me on the bank, you're doing good.
Oh, right.
But thank you so much for this short notice, and I love your song, man. And you know what? I was listening, and so in that night and day, and so you kind of remind me of the guy scatting, or the, you know what I'm saying, in the song. Remember you did a little,
yeah.
So thank you. Can you do that for us again?
Lord. I think that's just a little.
That's what I'm talking about. It brought me back. I was like, oh yeah, okay. I heard nobody do this in a little while.
Well, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Wow. Yeah.
So is there any other thing you would like to tell the audience?
Give
them your information where you can be reached.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you, by the way. So the first thing is that my EP, which is just a short little album, that is going to be released June 24th. And so if you want to go to my website, which is Barry Moton, Barry, and then Moton, Moton. There's no R or E in there. It's just Moton. .com, or you can go to any of my social media. It's the same thing, at Barry Moton, Barry, Moton. And so be looking out for that. That'll be June 24th. It's called What Had Happened Was.
Okay. So, yeah. Man, so you said you got online, Mr. Walker might be playing the trip up there. You said you got all them fishing holes up there.
Don't look, let me know. You got my contact information.
All right. Okay, well, you have a nice day, and thank you so much again.
Yes, you too. Thank y'all so much for having me.
And I hope the weather and everything is going to be all right before you leave, because I hear you got something coming, maybe already.
Just maybe. I'm hoping not.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Prayers.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. By the way. All right. Bye-bye.